starts, like always, like we're talking when the live starts.
Hey there, FIRMAN Nation. We're back again. We are back in our warehouse. We've been moving into our new location, and we're really making great progress. Our office got painted. We got new carpet. We're all still working in the warehouse for now. Everybody's on folding tables and stuff, but we're back in the warehouse. We've got our FIRMAN trailer. We actually have 3 of these big wrapped FIRMAN trailers around the country. We keep this one here in Phoenix, Arizona, where our headquarters is at. And then we also have one down in Tampa. We're gonna be in Tampa next week. I'm gonna fly out there with some of our other guys and pick up our trailer in Tampa and drive out to Daytona. We're going to be at the Daytona 500.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I'm Jason Sutton. This is Laramee Eaton.
Yep.
Laramee, tell everybody what you do.
So I'm the technical support supervisor here at FIRMAN. I mainly help out, with customer service stuff. So if any of you guys have problems with your generators, you're probably either going to talk to me or one of my guys on the tech team. We do that, repairs, stuff, just anything you need help warranty-wise, or if something's going on or you need a little help troubleshooting one of these to get them going again.
There's probably nobody at FIRMAN that knows our product better than Laramee. He's everything we have, he's torn apart and put back together. Yep. He knows this stuff inside now.
Yeah, I've lost count of how many times I've been in and out of these things. So,
like I was saying, we're going to be in Daytona next week for the Daytona 500. Jeb Burton is going to come by our trailer, so if you're there, we'll have one of our big wrap trailers sitting at the Hooters across the street from the entrance of Daytona 500 at the Speedway. So we'll be there starting on Wednesday of next week and through Sunday. But this is our biggest trailer. This is our 38-foot enclosed trailer. This one just came back from Las Vegas, where if you were watching on Monday, we came to you live from the Matco show. And this is how we get all of our generators and displays and gear back and forth to trade shows all over the country. We're trying to do more and more of those. We love getting the brand out and getting everybody to become more and more familiar with FIRMAN, and we've been doing a lot of that. Behind the camera today, you've got Megan, as always. So as we're doing this live feed, if you come up with questions, feel free to just pop them on there, and Megan will let us know there's a question that we can respond to. So today, we're gonna talk about a topic that really, I think, no other generator companies really talk about.
No.
Everybody knows it, but I think we're the only company that actually does something to address it.
Yeah.
So the issue is that for every 1,000 feet of elevation above sea level, you lose about 3.5% efficiency.
Yeah.
So if you go 3,000 feet above sea level, you've lost 10%, well, 9.5%,
yeah.
No, 10.5% efficiency. And so you might take your 3,650 watt generator all down to 3,300 watts just based on where you live. What the elevation is on where you live. Now, if you live in Denver, the Mile High City, now we're 5,000 feet, almost 6,000 feet, or in Flagstaff, Arizona, where it's 7,500 feet. You can see where that really starts to add up. Where you were planning on getting 3,650 watts out of your generator, and really now you're only getting 2,700 watts. So it's an issue, and everybody knows about it. Hardly anybody says anything about it. We actually do something about it. What we do is we offer high altitude jets, so you can rejet the carburetor. And when you do that, what does that do?
So basically, the problem that you run into when you go up in higher elevation, the higher you go, the less oxygen there is. So kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen, when they climb up Mount Everest, they have to wear masks so they can breathe. It's because there's no oxygen up there. So the higher that you get, the less oxygen there is. And engines, they're no different than human beings. They have to be able to breathe. And so when they have less oxygen, that forces more gas through, and then it causes a rich fuel mixture, and then that's what causes the spark plug to foul out, the spark arrestor to clog up, and then that power loss you were just talking about. So you get a jet that has a smaller port on it, so there's not as much gas can get through, so it evens out the fuel mixture, so that way it runs like it's supposed to, even if you're at 6,000 feet elevation.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great explanation. So when I watch those Everest movies and the guys are moving really slow, it's because their fuel-air mixture is messed up. Yeah, that makes sense.
No different.
If we want to use this on Everest, we need to take an oxygen tank with us.
Exactly. Yeah, you can just plug it in like where the air intake is, and then
I don't know why those guys don't take a generator with them to Everest. I mean, you could run a heater, like a little space heater. That'd be nice. They always seem like they're so cold. Well, we're going to demonstrate that today. When I'm done being stupid, we're going to demonstrate how to replace a jet. If you are somebody that lives at altitude, If you live above, I think we have 2 different jets for this kind of generator.
Yeah, so the one that comes in, it is rated for 0 to 3,000 feet, and then the next one up is 3 to 6,000 feet, 3,000 to 6,000, and then the one after that is 6,000 to 8,000 feet. And then generally speaking, anything past 8,000, we recommend that highest altitude, the 6,000 to 8,000 foot jet.
Oh, right, yeah, the highest altitude jet.
Because there are, sometimes we do run across it where people are up at like 9,000 and 10,000 feet.
Sure. So. Yeah, last summer we went camping and we were in Silverton, Colorado, and it was 9,500 feet.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, you definitely feel it. Yeah,
sure.
You definitely feel it. All right, well, so there's 2 different jet kits. If you're somebody that lives above 3,000 feet, 3,000 to 6,000, you're going to want that jet kit. If you live 6,000 to 9,000, you're going to want that jet kit. And the way you get that jet kit is just by calling us.
Yep, our tech support team, we provide it under warranty. We don't charge for the part, we don't charge for shipping. If you need it, just call us and then we'll just go on and send it out to you. Just as long as you have a warranty registration, so that way we know where to send it, because your address, all that stuff.
And if you don't know already, you can contact us at 844-FIRMAN-1. It's 844-FIRMAN-1 or 844-347-6261.
Yep, that's it.
All right, well, let's get to work. Okay. This is, what do we have here? Which generator?
This is a 3502.
3502.
Yeah, this is just a little 208cc generator with recoil start, just one of our more simple models. That way we could show everybody how it works.
So everything that's in that 3,500 or 3,650 watt category is going to have the same engine?
Yeah, exactly. They'll all have the 208cc's, but the cool thing about our jets is the process is more or less similar for every single model.
Okay.
So we have that. The jets, actually, we provide instructions on how to do it with the jet kits.
Okay.
So it comes with this piece of paper right here, and it'll show you exactly how to change everything and how it's assembled and how it goes together. Or if this isn't good enough, we do have technical publications for every single model on how to change the jets and the carburetor, and it kind of more or less has that. It just has a little bit more detailed pictures on how to change it. So
are those technical publications on our website?
They are working on it, so they're putting them all in there right now, just having some trouble sorting out through all the different categories.
But for now, our tech team could email it?
Exactly. Like, we'll just email it. It's just a PDF you can open, or if you're not good with that, we can also print it out and send it in the mail too. So
that's really great. That's really great. And free of charge.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't charge for that, since of course it's something that affects the way the generator runs. We want the generators to run properly when people are using them. So
I got to say, we take a huge amount of pride in our service and our tech support. Mm-hmm. I think this is just one more way that we go the extra mile to help our customers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really great. Well, let's tear into it.
Okay. So first thing you want to do when you do this is you want to make sure that your gas is turned off, and make sure that when you're doing this, you're doing it far away from any open flames, because you're dealing with a carburetor. Inevitably there's going to be a little bit of gas, so just make sure that you're far away from any open flames. But to limit it, just make sure that your fuel valve is here in the off position. If you have it in the on position, then of course whenever you take the carburetor off, gas is just going to start pouring everywhere. So just make sure that that's in the off position. Next thing after that is you have to remove this little air box right here. So there's 2 little clips on the bottom and the top. You just unsnap these, and then the actual cover will just slide off. Once you get that slid off, you need to take these bolts out here to get the screen out of here. So just take a Phillips head screwdriver. Just take these screws out. And once you get those screws out, then the screen should just slide off just like that. And then this part right here is just the foam air filter. It pops out. If it does come out, you just pop it right back in. And then after this, there's 2 mounting bolts for the carburetor studs. Just pull this little breather tube a little out of the way, so that way you can get back to them. Once you get that out, then it frees up these. These can sometimes be a little tricky to get to, depending on how big of a ratchet you use. Like this one right here, I had to put an adapter on it just to keep it short.
Yeah, that's a tight space.
Mm-hmm. And if you're having a tremendous amount of trouble, one thing that helps, I brought this in case, is just this little 3/8 swivel. And you can attach it in between your socket and the tool that you're using, and it'll swivel and move around, and then you can really get in here at the little, take them off just by hand. Oh man, I got that one quite loose enough.
Green
and then
for that.
Yeah, for sure. And then after that, then this just pops off. Now, this unit has a carbon canister on it for California. So if you do have one of these, you don't need to take this off. You can just kind of fold it out of the way there. Or if you want to, just all you have to do is pinch this and then just separate it from the tube. Once you get that off, just another important thing is these paper gaskets. You want to make sure that these aren't torn or damaged or anything. Like, see, this one looks okay. If it is torn or damaged, again, just feel free to call the tech support team and we'll send those out to you free of charge if you need new ones. Once you get that off, then the whole carburetor just slides off. And then there's a little rod right here that connects to the governor and the throttle spring. It can sometimes be a little bit tricky to get off of there. The easiest way is to slide it forward a little bit, and then you can just pick up on it, and then it'll just slide right out of the guide that it's in. Once you get that off, the whole carburetor will just slide out. And again, just this is why it's important to take this off. So if you leave this on, gas is going to start just pouring out of here because it's going to be constantly being fed through. If you leave it in the off, there's going to be a little bit of gas, but it's not a big deal. And then once you get that taken care of, then you're going to go in here, and there's a 10mm bolt on the very bottom and a 10mm bolt kind of facing at an angle. This is to drain the gas. This one is to just remove the whole bowl entirely. So just come through here and crack this loose. Once you get it cracked loose, then just pop the bowl off. And then another good thing whenever you're down here anyway, you want to check any sediment that's in the bottom of there. You want to make sure to clean out. Like I said, this one's new, so it is clean, but over time there's a little buildup that can get in there and it can clog your carburetor. So
what should you be using to clean that out?
Just some general, like whatever brand carburetor cleaner you can pick up at a auto parts store. If you don't have any parts cleaner, then you can just take some fresh gasoline and kind of just swish it around in there or let it soak in there, and it'll eat up some of that gunk. And then the jets, it's right in here inside this pickup tube. And to get to that, you just need a flathead screwdriver. Just be careful because the jets are made of brass. So if you get in there and twist it too much and cross thread the head of it, you won't be able to get it out. And, you know, not a big deal. Same thing. If you do that and the jet's seized up in there, just give us a call at tech support and we can send you a new carburetor. And likely probably just if you need the jet, we'll just go ahead and put it in before we send it out. That way you don't even have to do it. And then this thing is threaded really deep, so just be patient with it. It takes a little bit to thread all the way out. And then once you feel it that it's not giving you any more resistance, then usually you can take it and then just dump it upside down, and then the whole thing will come out. So this is the jet, and that's the little porthole where the gas goes through. One thing to watch out for is when you dump it, this other piece is likely going to come out. This is called the emulsion tube, and this is where all the gasoline goes through after it goes in through this jet. So the way that it works is it picks up all of the gasoline through the bottom of the carburetor, through the pickup tube. The gas and the suction, like the compression from the engine, sucks this emulsion tube up and then sprays out all the gas through the carburetor, and then that's what allows it to continue running. So once you get that out, then you're going to take your new jet.
This is probably a good opportunity too. You know, if you're looking at this jet, you can see that tiny hole right there in the top of the jet. That when you may have heard about winterizing your generator, or when you store a generator, the reason it's super important to run all the gas out of the tank and out of the carburetor is that gas can, after it sits for a while, gas can create varnish. And it can clog that little hole, and that's enough to make your generator not run.
Or it'll run, when it does run, it'll go wham, wham, like up and down, like it'll surge, and you'll have to move the choke kind of to adjust the fuel mixture again.
And I think we talked about this on another video, but once again, if you're storing your generator, you know, the best practice is either to really run all the fuel out of the tank. But at the very least, you can turn off the fuel valve and let the generator run till it dies and run all the fuel out of the carburetor.
And then another step too is just adding fuel stabilizer. That way, that'll keep it good for at least a year. So that way, again, you don't have to worry about it. So the next thing is just take this emulsion tube. Remember, when you go to put it back together, the small end always goes first, and the flat end is what sits in. That's how I remember it, is the flat end meets up with this one and sits together like this inside of the pickup tube. So you'll put this back in straight. Just let it go to the bottom.
So the long piece first.
Yep, long piece first with the small end in first. And then you want to make sure that you put this in with the flat head, like the little notches for it.
So you're going to be able to turn it with your screwdriver.
And you just drop it in there and kind of shake it a little bit, and that'll help it get seated down in there.
Okay.
And then grab your flathead, and then just find those threads, and then just, again, you'll have to work it. It may take some time because the threads are really, really long, but you can feel it. This doesn't have to be super, super tight. Again, it's brass, so you don't want to force it all the way. As soon as you feel it stop, then just maybe a little bit, about like a quarter of a turn past that, and that's
because brass
plenty.
is a soft metal.
Yeah, and the screwdrivers are hard, so it'll scrape the top of it, and then again, you'll never be able to get it out of there. So, and another thing to look out for is included with the jet kit is a gasket. It's just an O-ring to keep a good seal between the bowl and then the actual carburetor. And you can see this one, it's still in there and it looks really good. What you're looking for on there is any discoloration, like tears, anything like that.
Cracking.
If you see those, then just go ahead and swap it out. This one looks good, so we're just gonna leave it on there. And then just all you need to do is slide this back on. You wanna make sure that the carburetor is gonna sit on the generator just like this. So you wanna make sure that your drain bolt here is facing away so you can still access it. Once you get that done, then you can put your bolt back on. Just make sure there's a little red O-ring that's on here. Make sure that stays on there, otherwise you might get a slow gas leak coming out of the bottom.
And again, that's something they can reach out to tech support.
Yeah, and then again, same thing. If you lose anything, if anything gets lost, just give us a call and we can send it to you, no problem. And then same thing here, once you feel this seat, you don't want to over tighten it because then it'll mess up the threads on the inside. So just about maybe a quarter of a turn once you feel the seat. And then that's pretty much it. Looks like the choke lever fell off. So on this, just make sure your choke lever is still back in the right spot. Once you get all that done, you're ready to go back on. So just slide it back on top of here. And then once you get it to about right here, this is where you're gonna need to reattach the governor arm. It goes into this little black piece. And it's kind of hard to see over here. I don't have my light I usually have, but it seats right inside of there. And then there's a little governor spring that attaches to the little holes, and it's always the hole that's closest to it. And then once you get that back on there, then just simply slide it back into place. And then just like earlier, you're looking for your gasket, make sure it's not, damaged or anything. Just slide it back on. Once you get that back on, then you can put your plate, your carburetor or airbox cover back on. Then your little 10mm stud nuts.
I'm sure it's probably harder with someone.
Yeah.
With a camera.
And I'm used to doing this, like it's much higher, so it's, right in my face, so, but I can make it work.
I'm trying to make sure you have the best visuals.
Then once you get these back on here, just go ahead and tighten everything back down. The same thing as before, you don't want to over tighten these, so once you feel it seat, just about maybe half a turn. And then just make sure, don't forget to put this breather tube back in.
And it just slides right
Yeah,
in.
if you want to get it from this side, you can kind of see this end of the breather tube and plus this little hole right here.
It'll just
And
slide
it just
right
slides
through.
right in.
Perfect.
Once you get that back in, then you want to put your air filter back together. And just another thing here is if you ever forget, get it flip turned upside down one way or the other, just remember that this little port right here, this little blocker goes over the carburetor hole.
Now, if that's dirty, how can they clean that?
So if this gets dirty, which you should do from time to time, every 100 hours or so, every 50 hours, you want to pull it out and make sure that it's, not dirty, not clogged up. This one's really clean. But say if it is dirty, all you need to do is take some warm soapy water and kind of just stick it down there just like a sponge. And then once you bring it out, just take your engine oil, like when you, go to change out the oil. Put some on your finger and then just spread it on here. You want it really light. Like, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. You can kind of see like this right here is just oil, just from it
Okay.
sitting. So you want to make sure that's on there. That'll help catch any dirt or anything from making its way into the engine.
And that comes out really easy.
Yeah, and again, if you don't feel like doing that, we also sell maintenance kits on our website that'll have spark arrestor, oil, I mean, everything you need to do all the maintenance on it. That way you don't even have to worry about cleaning it. You can just simply change everything out. Once you get those back on there, then it's time to put these little bolts back in that hold this screen in place. And I always think it's easiest to start these by your finger because they're kind of a tight clearance in here. So I always start all of them by finger and then put them in with the screwdriver.
See, now that you showed me, I feel like I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like it would be
really
very
great,
scary. Yeah, it seems
a
like
lot
you'd
of
be very scary to touch anything. You don't want to mess anything up. Or like those are really small pieces.
Yeah, for sure. And
if
then
you forget where they came from, putting them back is going to be a really tricky.
Absolutely. That's why we include so many pictures when we make these for the technical publications. That way, in case you do forget where something goes, there's plenty of pictures where you can locate and say like, oh, okay, this screw goes in the
Absolutely. And
air
we're trying to
filter
get
screen.
those technical publications on our website, so that way it's very easy for you to be able to go there first before having to give a call on the tech support. But if you're someone who likes to talk to a person, we'll walk you through it too. That's great.
We just like talking to people in general. So, I mean.
Well, and I'm sure we'll make this video available as well.
Yeah.
It's great having a video walkthrough.
Oh, much easier.
Everyone watching, now you can go brag to your friends that you can change a carburetor.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and then not too long after that, you can start charging people to change the jets in their car.
That's right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. One
awesome.
recommendation I would say is this bag that we send with it is great for keeping the old jet, because you definitely don't want to lose this, just in case, like we have some people, especially here in Arizona, like down here we're at maybe 100, 200 feet elevation, but we have people that take their generators up to Flagstaff or camping that they have to change to that high altitude jet, so they actually keep both of these on hand and they swap them as they go. But yeah, it's always a good idea to keep these bags and keep them in there. That way, in case you ever need them again.
Absolutely, yeah.
But,
well, it's funny. I can see how it might be intimidating to people to do this, you know. But now that once people have seen it, I think you're right. If I was going camping for a long weekend or a week up in Flagstaff, I'd probably change out the jet by generator, just get all the power out of it, let it run the way it's supposed to run.
Yeah. It's like seeing the same thing when you talk about changing jets and rejetting a carburetor. A lot of people have this misconception. Because they're thinking, like a carburetor on a vehicle. Now that's a chore, because which nowadays most cars aren't even carbureted. But back in the day, that was a big deal, because they might have 6 different jets and you don't know which one you need to change. You have to do the adjustment to make sure your fuel mixture is still right, even with a new jet. So it's really, really difficult. But on these, all our carburetors are already pre-adjusted. So
that's awesome.
Just sip it in there and you're good to go.
Laramee, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no problem.
This was really great. I always love having you on the show and on the program. And I hope everybody feels a lot more comfortable now rejetting the carburetor. If you're somebody watching that lives at above 3,000 feet, please reach out to us at 844-FIRMAN-1. Let us send you a jet kit and get all the power that you need and expect out of your generator at home or camping.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to wrap up. We will see you on Monday, and look forward to seeing you again with all of our next episodes. Bye-bye.